never imagined the person who once shared my secrets, my laughter, and my childhood dreams would be the one to try and destroy me. But that's exactly what my sister did. My name is Anna, and for years, Emily and I were more than just sisters. We were best friends. We grew up in the same cozy house our parents built with love, the one filled with Sunday dinners and late night talks. After Mom passed 2 years ago, that house became everything to me. It was my safe place, my last piece of her. Emily saw it differently. She saw dollar signs. She had her fancy lifestyle, her expensive tastes, and debts she never talked about. Slowly, I noticed the changes. Calls that ended in arguments, texts that grew colder. She started telling our cousins I was not handling grief well, that my anxiety was turning into something dangerous. I brushed it off at first. She's just stressed, I told myself, my heart aching with denial. But then the papers arrived, a court petition. My own sister was asking the judge to declare me mentally incompetent, insane, unfit to manage my own life or the house Mom left us. I sat on my kitchen floor that night, papers shaking in my hands, tears streaming down my face. How could she? The sister who held me when Dad died? The one I babysat for, cooked for, supported through her divorce? My world felt shattered. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Every mirror reflection looked back at me like maybe she was right. Maybe I was breaking. But deep down, something quiet and strong began to stir. I hired a lawyer. I started keeping records. I showed up in court that morning with my head held high, even though my knees were trembling. The courtroom was cold, the air thick with tension. I sat alone on my side while Emily walked in like she owned the place, dressed perfectly, smiling at the judge. I thought that was the worst moment, until she stood up to testify. Her voice rose, dramatic and loud, echoing off the walls. Your Honor, my sister is insane. She's unstable. She talks to herself. She's a danger to herself and everyone around her. The room went dead silent. Gasps rippled through the gallery. My cheeks burned with humiliation. I wanted the floor to swallow me. But what I didn't know in that moment was that one simple question from the judge was about to flip the entire script. That scream from Emily didn't just hurt, it broke something inside me I didn't know could break. In the weeks leading up to court, she had turned our entire family against me, whispered calls to aunts and uncles. Anna's not herself anymore. She needs help, permanent help. She even showed up at my door once, pretending to care, only to fish for information about Mom's will. I remember standing there, heart pounding, begging her, Emily, why are you doing this? We're sisters. Her answer? A cold laugh and, because you're too emotional to handle money, I'm protecting you. Protecting me? She was stealing my life. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. Nights I cried until my eyes swelled shut. Mornings I stared at the ceiling, wondering if grief had truly made me crazy. I stopped answering calls from friends because the rumors had spread. Everyone thought I was unstable. My job performance slipped. I took leave just to survive. The worst part? I started doubting myself. Was I really too broken to keep the house? Had the pain after losing Mom twisted me into someone dangerous? Emily planted those seeds so perfectly that even I began to water them. But pain has a way of turning into fuel when you've got nothing left to lose. I stopped crying in the dark and started gathering proof. Bank statements showing she had already tried to drain joint accounts, old messages where she begged me to watch her kids for months while she traveled for work, medical records proving my anxiety was mild and managed. My lawyer warned me it might not be enough. Emily's story was emotional, theatrical. She painted me as the fragile little sister who couldn't cope. And in court that day, watching her point at me like I was a stranger, I felt smaller than ever. My hands shook in my lap. I could barely breathe. Every memory flashed before me, us braiding each other's hair as kids, sharing ice cream on the porch, promising we'd always have each other's backs. How did we get here? How did love turn into this courtroom war? I was drowning in heartbreak, betrayal so complete it felt like my soul had been ripped in half. I wanted to scream back, but I stayed silent, waiting, because somewhere in the middle of all that pain, I had decided I wouldn't let her win, not without a fight. I just didn't know the judge was about to hand me the weapon I never saw coming. The judge leaned forward, calm and steady after Emily's dramatic outburst. The whole room was still holding its breath. Then he spoke, quiet but clear as glass. Miss Emily, before I make any ruling, I have one question for you. If your sister is truly as unstable, dangerous, and mentally incompetent as you claim, why did you voluntarily leave your two young children in her full-time care for 3 entire months last summer while you vacationed in Europe? The silence that followed was deafening. Emily's perfectly painted face drained of color. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out at first. She stuttered. I, that was different. She seemed fine then. The judge didn't raise his voice. He simply slid forward the printed messages and flight records I had quietly provided weeks earlier. Proof she had trusted me completely with the people she loved most. The courtroom erupted in whispers, heads turned. My lawyer smiled for the first time all day. Emily's entire case crumbled in seconds. The lies, the manipulation, the fake concern, it was all exposed by one honest question. She tried to backpedal, but the damage was done. The judge ruled in my favor within minutes. The petition was dismissed. The house stayed mine. Emily was ordered to cover all court costs and stay away from any further claims on the estate. As I stood up to leave, she looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in months. Her eyes were filled with shame, regret, and the realization that her betrayal had backfired completely. I didn't yell. I didn't gloat. I simply walked past her and said softly, I hope you find peace, Emily. I already have. That day, justice didn't come with shouting or revenge plots. It came with truth. I drove home to the house that still smelled like Mom's cookies, opened the windows, and breathed freely for the first time in years. The pain didn't vanish overnight, but the weight lifted. I learned that family isn't defined by blood, it's defined by who chooses to protect you instead of destroy you. My sister lost far more than money that day. She lost the last piece of respect I had for her. And I gained something priceless: my voice, my strength, and my peace. If someone ever tries to break you with lies, remember this: stay calm, gather your truth, and let the right question do the work. Real revenge isn't loud, it's quiet. It's watching the light of honesty burn away every shadow they tried to hide in. I'm not broken anymore. I'm free. And that is the sweetest victory of all.